welcome to the Live Daily Show. I'm Sean, and we're at the beautiful Azurich Estate Hotel. And today we have an amazing episode on inner beauty, because beauty isn't something that's on the outside, it's on the inside, so stay tuned. I knew when we were doing a show on inner beauty that I needed to sit down and have a chat with Brandi. Brandi is a stylist, but she's one of those stylists that she feels you, because you got to bring that inside out in order for you to be able to show the world who you are. Beauty is one of those things that I think a lot of women struggle with.
Yes.
Especially inner beauty. There's the outside beauty, but then there's also the inner beauty. And that inner beauty, I believe, is an essence or a presence that when you walk in the room, people just feel you, right? It really, yeah, you can wear the shoes and you can wear the jeans or the skirts or whatever, or the designers. But it's really an essence, a presence. You know, you could have $10 shoes on or $500 shoes on and still carry the same energy, right?
Yes, to shine from within.
So what does that mean then? What does shine from within mean?
Well, I think for me and a lot of women is accepting yourself and who you are. And when you accept who you are, what you have and who you've become,
right,
everything changes. So you're confident every day. I mean, everyone has bad days, but accepting yourself is huge.
So accepting yourself meaning what? Looking in the mirror and accepting your femininity, accepting what you like, what you don't like?
Absolutely.
Finding your role models, finding...
Yeah, looking at yourself and just being able to, I guess, tell yourself that you love yourself, right? And every day you spend the most time with yourself. If you don't like yourself, I mean, we have a problem. So just love yourself, accept yourself, right? And then you can dress up that person.
Do you think that there's a lot of competition between women?
Yes. I think there always will be.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think inner beauty, though, should have anything to do with competition, because I think there's so much beauty in the world, right?
You're right. But that's where women struggle, because they're not quite, confident with who they are, right? So we're always looking at someone else and saying, well, I like that, or they've got this, and right? Instead of just saying, I got this, and shining.
But it reminds me of the flowers, right? Because a rose is beautiful, but so is a daisy, and so is, like, what's your favorite flower?
Hydrangeas. The big bountiful ones.
Right, and they're all completely different.
Yes.
But yet they're also beautiful and elegant because they have their own presence and grace about them.
Absolutely. Well, in beauty, it comes in all shapes and sizes and forms, and right?
Yeah.
The beauty's different for everyone, I think.
So when we're looking in the mirror, especially with your clients, you help people, put their styles, their outfits together and things, but it's an inside job. So when someone is not, maybe hasn't seen themselves in the mirror after they're put together, is there like a connection or where it just kind of clicks?
Well, starting with yourself and the inner beauty itself, and then stepping out and dressing your outside image.
To match your inside.
To match your inside. And I mean, that you got to take the time, you got to go out and I mean, dressing your body, your figure, everyone is different and every style is different. I don't believe we should all just follow the magazines and go with what's in today. It's about feeling good, because you can be, something might be in style, bell-bottom pants, but they don't always go with everybody, right? So
well, especially height-wise too, right? If you don't have the height to pull them off, right?
Right.
But then that comes back to accepting yourself.
Yes.
And accepting for who you are and what you have.
Yeah.
And especially with women, our weight kind of fluctuates too. And that's a big one. It's almost like, there's so many women that step on the scale and they're like totally down in the dumps when there's an extra 5 or 10 pounds, right? As opposed to just truly loving and embracing where they're at in whatever life is presenting to them, right?
Right. Yeah, so just being happy within.
And can you use fashion and clothes and, those little beauty tips to kind of help us propel to where it is that we want to go in life?
Absolutely. I think, if you're leaving the house or you get up in the morning and you feel good about yourself, you look good about yourself, when you leave the house, I mean, there's a presence you're making. And if you're happy and you look good and there's a confidence and your aura is shining, I mean, you're going to attract that. And you want to attract beauty and you want to attract happiness and great things.
That's a good point, because you're talking about expanding your aura, the vibrations, right? To be able to attract what it is that you want. So when you're kind of in the down in the dumps and you're wearing your sweatpants and like a hoodie or something like that, Which I will confess, sometimes I do go out like
We
that.
all do it.
But that's only because, you know, you spend other time
Yeah.
getting ready and being polished, right? But on an everyday to put on, whether it's like your best lip gloss or your
Right.
best shoes or just one item, right?
Yep. Yeah. I think just if you take an extra 5 minutes and, you know,
5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like we need to exhale because 5 minutes isn't that
It's
long,
not,
right?
no.
But our mind's always like on this fast track to get out the door, to
Absolutely.
get the kids
Yeah.
dropped off, all of that kind of stuff. Where that 5 minutes of just being in yourself.
yeah, take the time.
Little positive talk when
Yeah.
you're putting on makeup,
Well, of course.
right?
Yeah. And pep talk. I mean, the girls, I have children. I have 1 boy and 3 girls. And, you know, my girls look at me every day. And, you know, I think it's important that I'm happy because if I'm happy, they're happy. And
that's it, right?
Yeah.
Because all we can truly do is influence our home
right.
and raise our girls and our boys
Absolutely.
with the confidence that we have within inside ourselves.
Yes.
Oh, Brandi.
Important.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thanks for
honey.
having me.
Thank you. Mwah.
Maureen McRae, or as Dr. Mo, I call her, is one of those women that has all the credentials in the world, but yet her energy and her love and her inspiration is just so contagious. I love my chats with her.
Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
You know, beauty and inner beauty
Yeah.
is one of those things that I think a lot of women struggle with. I think that there's a lot of competition between women and society and what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing, from the wrinkle creams to, you know what I'm talking about,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
But what is inner beauty?
It's having that inner glow,
Inner glow.
having that soul fire. Because what happens?
I like that soul fire.
What happens when we go from our 20s, 30s, and 40s into our 50s and 60s? Life doesn't end.
No.
And we actually become more empowered as women as we go into menopause and go through it.
Right.
And that wisdom and knowledge, that understanding those, you know, the journey that we've been on actually helps to bring in and anchor in more of that inner beauty. And so we develop that as we, you know, journey through our entire lives. It's self-love, it's being in our heart, it's realizing that it's just not about what's outside this shell, it's about how do we treat ourselves, how do we treat other people, you know, do we lift people up and elevate others, including ourselves, or are we trying to tear people down? Are we trying to create a better world, a better life for ourselves and others?
You know what's coming to mind is even conversations.
Yes.
Are you asking about how the other person's doing and holding
Yes.
space, or are you having that conversation all about you, right?
And having that respect for the other person where you're actually able to speak honestly with them.
Because sometimes we do need that, you know, that little kick, that little front, right? And when you have a good friend and you love them unconditionally, it's great, right?
And again, coming back to just really being anchored in our heart space and holding that space.
And maybe also too putting up boundaries in regards to what's good for us and what's not good for us. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's very important, which is all part of it. Part of being that empowered, impassioned, beautiful person inside and out, men and women, and having heart-centered relationships.
So really, beauty is really about love.
Yes.
Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because that's kind of what I'm feeling, is that inner beauty is more about an essence or a presence of who we are as opposed to what we physically see. It's more of a feeling.
The heart is bigger than anything.
So what's one tip that we can have or share about inner beauty for our own selves? Is it looking at ourselves in the mirror with love? Is it?
I believe it would be self-respect.
Self-respect.
Which is our inner truth, loving ourselves, honoring ourselves, and being in our truth,
and being
in our heart.
Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Self-respect equals inner beauty. So then beauty or inner beauty isn't really about the outside at all, is it?
I don't believe so. I have a beautiful young man in my life who's 19 who has Down syndrome, and he is in his heart all the time. His energy is always love, and
So
he's always in his heart, and he is such a daily inspiration for me. And I know that can almost sound cliche, but he is truly a beautiful soul, and he's pure love. So that, inner beauty is many things, but certainly having a child as special as my son, Ian, brings that out. So that's a beautiful example of inner beauty.
I love it. Love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Sometimes in life we get so busy with all the different roles that we play. We're moms, we're wives, we have our careers, we have everything, and sometimes we need to come back to ourselves. So exercise can be that perfect time for you. Allow that time, that space for you to envision wherever it is that you want. Find that inspiration, find that determination to go after that dream. Maybe it's traveling, maybe it's writing that book, but step out of all the roles that you play and use it to inspire yourself. Thanks again for being here today.
My pleasure, Sean.
Posture. It's so important, especially as women, how we carry ourselves, right?
100%.
I find a lot of times our shoulders are a little bit hunched, our chest is a little bit tight, where we need to strengthen that back muscle, that rhomboid, to keep the shoulders back, chest open, and walk, right? Especially when you're walking into a room, you need to come in with a presence.
For sure, absolutely. Yes.
Do you know what I love for posture exercises?
What?
The wall angel.
Okay.
You're familiar with those, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
they are a little bit tough, but they are so magical just to work the one muscle right here, your rhomboid, right?
Right.
So
Okay.
on the wall,
Okay.
feet a little bit wider than hip width apart, pushing that back all the way into the wall, and then your arms just coming up at 90 degrees. And if you hold, how does that feel?
Definitely engaging, those rhomboids.
Absolutely. So we can hold that pause for a little bit, right? And then you can just rest, bring your arms down. You felt it though, right?
Absolutely.
So if we want to increase that intensity, bring them back up and bring your arms all the way up to touch at the top. And then bring it back down, keeping it nice and slow, making sure that your elbows and your wrist stay in line with the wall. And how does that feel?
Oh, feeling
Are
it.
you feeling it?
Yep.
Oh, you're awesome. And if we want to make it even more challenging, to make it more of a full body, not that you're not feeling it to begin with now, go down a little bit lower into a squat, making sure your knees aren't going over top of your toes, which is perfect. Core is engaged.
All right.
Look at you. You ready?
Yep.
And try it. Go all the way up. And back down. Watch those elbows staying on the wall. How does that feel?
Great.
You're doing awesome, which is so great for the posture. We're going to continue to work out here, but stay tuned for an amazing story from the Ticket to Change. Today's success story is Rob. And you know what? He's like most men, where they kind of really don't put their health first. Rob was one of those men who always thought he was healthy. He thought he could eat anything he wanted because, you know what, he had that metabolism where he wouldn't gain weight. But it wasn't until that he was denied life insurance that he knew he was not healthy.
You want to do it for your family. You want to be able to stick around for your daughter, for your the others in your life.
At first, it was a little bit difficult for Rob, but it got easier as he felt and saw the results. Rob found that he didn't need a gym membership. In fact, he loved his time outside in nature.
Fish Creek Park is where I do all my workouts. It gives me a fresh perspective of life. You get to think. You get to go through your thoughts We get to just walk and work out, and it's quiet time.
There was no gym equipment. He just found whatever he could outside.
Rocks, stairs, logs, broken down stumps, anything that you can find. You just improvise.
He says that if you get your mind right, everything else just becomes easy because you don't need people to push you. You just need that inspiration, and that comes from yourself.
I am in the kitchen here at the beautiful Azridge Estate Hotel, and we all know the saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And I don't know if it's really true, but I know there's a lot of nutritional benefits to it, but I think we all love apples. And today I just wanted to share a few ways that I use apples in my diet. So I remember growing up and my mom would always make baked apples, and they are so good. I don't know if you've ever had them, but you take the core out of your apple, you put them in a little ramekin dish like this, and you kind of fill the insides with some nuts, raisins, and top it with a little bit of brown sugar and some cinnamon, and you bake it for about 40 minutes, and oh my gosh, they are so yummy. Have you ever heard of apple butter? I love apple butter. So apple butter is just more of a condensed version of applesauce, but you take your rice cracker, add a little bit of almond butter to it, and then you take a little bit of your apple butter, put that on top, and it's almost like peanut butter and jelly, except a little bit healthier, less sugar, and voila, it's so yummy. Last but not least is why not add some apples to your pancakes? So we just shredded some apples and put it in the batter here, and then of course you put them in your pan and make your pancakes, and then we just have some little I guess it would be some blueberry sauce to go on top, so it's like apple blueberry pancakes. How yummy is that? We checked in with Tessa at the superstore to find out all the nutritional benefits of apples, so have a look. Tessa, thanks so much for joining me at the superstore.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
We did a segment in the kitchen, the beautiful Azridge kitchen, right, on apples. Is it true that an apple a day keeps the doctor away?
I would say so, yeah, you can say that, yeah.
How come?
There is tons of fiber in apples. Apples help keep you regulated, because of the fiber, keeps your colon clean, and it's like you can think of it as a broom for your colon. It brushes out and scrubs out toxins that are
like
building
a broom.
up.
I never thought of
Totally.
that. So is the fiber in the skin or both?
Highest fiber content would be in the skin, yeah.
Right.
And so some moms like to peel it off for kids, I get it, texture thing. But if you can encourage the little ones to eat that red part or the green part, it's really super beneficial.
The red part, the green part, I like it. Is there some apples that are better than others? Like, you know, our green apples, we have organic, we have regular. Like, when we're buying apples, I just look for the prettiest apples, like the shiny ones, the ones that don't look bruised.
Nice,
but is there
and
certain
glossy
ones that we should be eating as opposed to others?
You know, sometimes you have to be careful. The shiny, it's pretty, but it can be buildup, it can be wax. They protect them from pests that are grown in the farms. So definitely make sure you're washing these really well. Maybe use a fruit wash that you can buy here at the grocery store at Superstore. Also, eat a variety. Don't just pick one apple. Get the kids to pick out what color and what look they like the best for one time and try another one the next time. Experiment.
Or have a few different colors,
Yeah.
and then your bowl would look so pretty on your counter,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. And as for organic versus non-organic, that just touches again on pesticide use. So, I mean, we're all trying to do the best we can with what we have.
Right.
And in places like the Superstore, we have great options. They provide the organic versus non-organic, so you can decide. With something like this, apples, I would say go the organic route, because apples, fruits that are grown in trees, are typically quite heavily sprayed. We want to stay away from that. It just messes with our hormones, it messes with digestion and keeping us alert. It's just a cascade effect, really. So yeah, sticking to organic. You still want to wash them to have them clean, but you don't have to worry about the scrubbing and
they still look really pretty.
yeah, they're beautiful.
Aw, thanks for your tips, hon.
Absolutely.
John is a local entrepreneur and a big thinker. I knew when I first met him that there was more inside him that I wanted to learn about. So we sat down and had a few conversations.
So from the perspective of being male energy, and I'm female energy, a lot of women, and I think even a lot of men, struggle with finding that, you know, whether it's masculine energy or feminine energy, to kind of own who they are inside. Because as a society, we're really based upon the outside. Do you know what I mean? So with even in your own transformation, how has that shifted from how you see yourself now?
There was a big transformation for sure.
Like, are you like, holy?
Yeah, I'm more like, I mean, you know, when Francis, my 4.5-year-old, looked at wedding pictures before when I was a lot heavier, she would say, "Mommy, you look the exact same," and she does. Like me, my wife hasn't aged. And I say, "What about Daddy?" And she said, "You look so different." And and it's funny because now my 4.5-year-old is saying, "Dad, you look exactly the same as you did when you were younger." So I mean, there is a certain amount of gratification. It does feel like I've turned back the clock. I mean, this was the size I was when I was younger, and it does feel good. I mean, you feel more confident.
A little bit more have a pep in your step as you go,
right? I've done a little bit more shopping, as you know.
Of course you have.
Yeah, because I do feel a lot better about myself mentally, but also physically, for sure.
Yeah, like I remember during my highest weights, I always felt that I was anchored by my body. So I wouldn't do things because I was anchored by what I thought I looked like, all of those things, until you really take ownership for your life, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, right? It's not just physically. And it's amazing all of the doors, how your whole perception completely shifts.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I had like my big pants, and then I had my pants that were from 10 years before, and I wouldn't throw away because I refused to buy any bigger pants, no matter what, how tight they got. But I mean, I have no more big pants, so all my big pants are gone.
What did you do with them? Donated them?
Yeah, of course.
Did you keep one?
No,
you got
because
rid of
I
it?
don't. I'm never gonna let myself get in that unhealthy mindset again. I won't do it. There's too many things riding on me being healthy, and I need to be there for my kids, and I need to have the energy for my businesses and for my family. And I mean, this is something that I committed to, and I'm gonna stick to it. I came to the realization that this needed to be a part of my life, and the simple thing is, when I go and I bike, and that's pretty much my activity, is mountain biking. I do it just like a meeting. If I schedule a meeting, I'm there, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be in a meeting. I can't book any other meetings.
And this is for you. It's your time.
I can't book anything else in during this time, and it goes for everything. It goes for work and home life. You know, if I need to figure out a way to, you know, get lunch made earlier because this was the time that I was done, I'm going to do that. If I need to reschedule a meeting because it conflicts with the time that I was going to have, it's important for me to be healthy because everything else is riding on that. So I think that was a tipping point that where I know that I have to be committed to this, and I can't ever put something in front of it again, because then you do it once and that becomes that cycle, right? And then you haven't gone bike riding for a week, and then then you get discouraged, and then you go on that downhill spiral, right? And it's so hard to get back. So I'm not ever going to put myself in that position again.
That's fantastic. Inner beauty is something that's an energy, it's a presence. So next time you're looking in the mirror, remember, be easy on yourself. Thanks for watching.